So here we have activity 2.1 on self-awareness. Self-awareness is crucial for understanding and developing good interpersonal skills and building therapeutic relationships with patients, clients and their families. So what I'd like you to do is just think about this for a moment, particularly in light of some of the work that we've just done or some of the discussion that we've just had. Really perhaps making some notes about why you think self-awareness is important. Or perhaps you don't think self-awareness is important. Maybe you'd like to write something about that. And it's a good idea, I think, to share some of your thoughts with your fellow students. So again, you can pop onto the loop on the LMS and write down why you think self-awareness is crucial for understanding and developing good interpersonal skills and building therapeutic relationships. So what is self-awareness? Self-awareness is the capacity to be in touch with one's whole perceptual field, so one's environment, thoughts, feelings, experiences, qualities, strengths, values, beliefs, and limitations. Building awareness means trusting the self to search within to self-reflect. This isn't always an easy task. It's not always an easy thing to do. And many of us have never done it or have done very little of it. So it's a good idea to really start practicing that. So what I've done here is just pose some questions for you. So it's another activity for you to do. And this one's probably going to take you some time. Questions like, how do I learn best? What are the ideal conditions for you to learn? What do you like to do? What do you find works for you? What are your natural talents? What are the things that come naturally to you? What are the things that other people say about your talents? Perhaps you have some talents that you haven't acknowledged yourself. How often does someone say, for example, oh, I'm no good as a leader, only to have other people say, I think you're an amazing leader. You've come up with really good ideas. You're a great people person. You know how to get the best out of people. So it's interesting how sometimes what we see in ourselves is not the same as what others see. What motivates you and why? Who do you enjoy working with and why? How do you spend your free time? What are your core values? What are the things that you really value? Do you value work? Do you value family? Do you value friendships, money, wealth, social justice, fairness? Who inspires you? Who are the people who've inspired you the most? When do you perform your best? In what sort of circumstances are you able to perform your best? And what are the qualities that you might like to see in other people? And why? What is it about those qualities that you like? So some big questions here. I again encourage you to spend some time answering these questions. And this is an evolving thing. I mean, self-awareness is really an evolving thing. It's something that we never really stop doing. It's something that we do till the day we're no longer here, really, because there's always more to learn about ourselves, just as there's always more to learn about others. So here we've got something called a reflective cycle, and there are actually, numerous models of the reflective cycle. I particularly like this one. It's quite a simple one, and it helps you to just go through some steps. So you might have been in a situation and found that when you came out of that situation that you didn't feel particularly good. So to start off with, the first thing to do is to go to the blue bubble and look at what happened, the description, what happened in that situation. What were the feelings as you move around in a clockwise directions? What were the feelings that you had at that time? What were you thinking and feeling? What was good or bad about the situation? And it is important, I think, to think about what was good as well as bad, because often we do focus on what was bad. So, for example, you might have gone for a job interview and you've come out of it not feeling that great. You can think about what your feelings were. Oh, I didn't feel that great. I didn't think I did that well. I felt a bit down afterwards. I felt I could have done better. So do a bit of an evaluation. What was good about the situation and what was bad about it? Oh, it was good that I managed to talk about all the things that I'm really capable of and my previous experience. What was bad is that I didn't talk enough about my strengths. That's just an example. Then an analysis. So what sense can you make of this situation? And it might be that you think to yourself, like in analysing what happened, that's really, I could have perhaps prepared better. I don't think I prepared as well as I could have. And then the conclusion, what else could you have done? So in this particular instance, I could have prepared better. And the action plan, if it arose again, what would you do differently? And in this case, I would spend more time preparing for the interview. I might actually get up some interview questions and actually rehearse the interview with somebody. So this is a reflective cycle, and this can be applied to just about any situation. And in fact, sometimes in your subjects now, I think including this one, you'll be asked to do a reflective piece. So using this can be really helpful in completing that task, that assessment task as well. So now we're going to talk a bit about the authentic self. So the authentic self is the you that can be found at your absolute core. It is the part of you that is not defined by your job or your function or your role. It is the composite of all your unique gifts, skills, abilities, interests, talents, insights, and wisdom. It is all of your strengths and values that are uniquely yours and need expression, versus what you have been programmed to believe that you are supposed to be and do. It is the you that flourished unselfconsciously in those times in your life when you felt happiest and most fulfilled. It is the you that existed before and remains when life's pain, experiences, and expectancies are stripped away. That's quite a lovely quote, isn't it? And I think we can all think of a time when we felt that authentic self. And perhaps that's why you're here studying, because you actually want and are looking for doing something that is authentic and that is you. So while one of the most important elements of working with clients is being able to perceive and process the client's feelings and thoughts, it is also important that you as a practitioner are able to use yourself as a feeling and thinking instrument to understand and perceive the client. So self-awareness is being aware of how you are receiving, processing and responding to clients in relation to your cognitive and emotional history. As a practitioner, it is important to embrace your own self-awareness and promote ongoing self-growth. So you remember we looked at the diagram of the client and of the practitioner and how they both bring so much into the room. And again, this is just really saying that again in a slightly different way. So here's another activity for you to do, this time on the authentic self. So this activity requires you to write down on a piece of paper how you see yourself and how you would describe yourself to someone who doesn't know you. To do this exercise, you'll need to spend about 5 minutes quiet time thinking about your true self. So because you're in an online class, it's best for you to perhaps go to the loop and share this there. or perhaps if you've got someone that you can talk to face about this, perhaps your partner or perhaps a good friend, you can tell them about yourself and then invite them to tell you who you are as well. So your authentic self is a unique combination of all your qualities, including your skills, your abilities, your interests, talents, limits, insights, experiences, memories, beliefs, purpose, and wisdom. It is the expression of your core values through all your quirks and your strengths. Our authentic nature may best be revealed by how we enjoy playing, but what it is we most enjoy doing simply for our own pleasure at any age. So that's something else just to think about. How do you like to play? It's important to increase the congruence between what you do and your goals, beliefs, and values. Pay attention to how you spend your time. Do the activities you spend your time on advance your most important goals? And do your goals reflect your values? Do your values reflect your authentic self? Reappraise your values, beliefs, goals, and actions to improve the congruence. As people become more authentic, they often become more rational, realistic, intuitive, creative, independent, flexible, able to manage change, and willing to accept blame and correct their mistakes. They're more generous and respectful of others, fair and cooperative. And this congruence earns the trust of others. And this is why it is so important in the therapeutic relationship. So now we're going to talk about your sense of self-worth. So your sense of self-worth is how you regard yourself. It's your understanding of your qualities, your strengths, and your personal attributes, and it's a measure of how you value yourself. It recognises that you're valuable because you are you, and there's no one else like you in the world. It encourages you to try new things, to meet new people, and to really enjoy life. And it helps you get through tough situations and to pick yourself up and try again if things don't work out as you'd hoped. It's not about thinking you're great just because you might be good at doing something or have an appealing physical attribute. That is not what self-worth is about. You can actually have healthy self-worth without having any particular stand-out skills. You need to be able to find qualities within yourself that you think are important. They need to be important to you, not to anybody else. So what affects self-worth? Obviously, the environment in which you live, study and socialise can have a big impact. How you believe you perform in different activities and settings, what other people say to you, and perhaps most importantly, what you say to yourself. Of all the things that affect our sense of self-worth, self-talk is the one we have most control over. So that means it's really important to get into the habit of replacing unhelpful thoughts like I'm an idiot or nobody likes me with helpful ones like I have some good qualities or there are people who care about me. It's also, again, coming back to mindfulness, good to notice that we're actually doing that, because sometimes we're not even aware that that's what's happening. This sort of inner voice that talks, that appears or seems to talk to us, it's something that we can become aware of and change rather than letting it go on unfettered. So here we've got the Johari window. So the Johari window is a really interesting concept. So we're looking here at the 4 panes of the Johari window. So in the green pane we have what's known to ourselves and known to others. So it's things like perhaps the colour of our hair and eyes, the colour of our skin, what clothes we're wearing, the type of voice that we might have, the fact that certain characteristics that everyone would know about us. Those sort of things are what are in the green pane. In the one below the green one, that sort of blue, the sort of darker blue one, it's what's not known to others. It's what's hidden. So it's what we know about ourselves, but it's what others don't know about us. So it might be things like that we really, really love chocolate, and that you might sit down and eat quite a bit of chocolate. Or it could be that you're scared of spiders, or that you're that you might have an exam phobia, or things that you probably are a little bit sort of embarrassed about or don't really want others to know, except for your very closest friends. Then there's the parts in the purple pane that are not known to ourselves at all. They're the parts that others can see. And I think I mentioned this earlier when we were talking about what our qualities and strengths are, in that sometimes people know more about us than we know about ourselves. For example, we might think that we're not a good leader. That's the example I used earlier. And yet others would say, well, actually, you have all the attributes of a really good leader. You know, you're really good with people. You bring the best out in people. You're a great organiser. You have all the essential qualities of a leader, and yet we ourselves can't see this. So this is the blind pane of the Johari window. And in the one under that, in the lighter blue or aqua, is the unknown. And this is the part that we don't know about ourselves and that others don't know about ourselves. It's the yet to be discovered pane. And in this is really important in understanding how important self-awareness is again, because we bring this into our consultations. So we bring the Johari window of ourselves into consultations. There are parts of us that are open, blind and hidden, and of course there's the unknown, and that comes out in relationship with others. So we discover more about ourselves through our relationships with others. So that's why we're talking about this, because I think it's really good to have that understanding that there are going to be surprises. There may well be surprises, pleasant surprises and sometimes more confronting surprises, but nevertheless surprises. And this is the same in relation to others as well. We can see ourselves through the Johari window, and we can also see others through the Johari window as well, that they too have these open, blind, hidden and unknown parts of themselves. So here's just another diagram of the same thing. So self-disclosure. We're talking about self-disclosure because it relates back to the Johari window, as particularly to the unknown part of the Johari window and the blind part as well. So self-disclosure is defined as sharing personal information, thoughts, feelings, wishes, history with others that they would not normally know or discover about oneself. Self-disclosure is important in all types of relationships, as it improves both communication and the quality of the relationship. However, self-disclosure must be done in a contextually appropriate manner and must be used carefully in any client-practitioner relationship. But self-disclosure in terms of finding out more about ourselves through others is important. So self-disclosure with those that you trust, perhaps with a mentor or with a family member or close friend, is going to help you to find out more about yourself. Obviously, in a client-practitioner relationship, self-disclosure must be used very carefully, and we'll probably talk about this, or we definitely will be talking about this more as we go through the module.